Hello and welcome back to the Who Pod. This time we are going to be talking about Doctor Who, more of a generalization than we have done ever before. I mean, we've talked about Doctor Who in topics and everything like that, and I felt like, this could be a nice test for something new and a possible sort of more regular show when we just discuss, Doctor Who in general, talk about news and games and all that kind of stuff. And I think this could be a nice sort of transition between what I've been doing to this sort of stuff. Of course, that we have our co-host, as we normally do each month. This week we only have one, and this person has written their own introduction. By the way, I've been saving this up for 2 months. So it says,
This is what?
gotta get it out now. Did I take It must have done. Come on.
This
Yes,
isn't scripted. I genuinely have no
This
idea
isn't-
what this
no,
is about
no.
to read.
I mean, they've probably recognized your voice at this point. But still.
Yeah. Hi.
Okay, so roses are red, violets are blue. Don't be friends with Dan. He will replace you. It's Will.
Yeah.
It's Will.
Oh, big up.
That was done. Actually, I went back and I thought it was last month, but it wasn't. It was February, which meant that it was a month since you were last on. And then that made you like annoyed.
Yeah.
Yes.
I wasn't on since December. The Christmas one was the last one I was on, Dan. How's that make you feel?
Oh, it was January.
No, it wasn't.
January one. You were on. We
What
did
we
one
did we talk?
First for the 5th.
Oh yeah, 'cause we spoke about the
Revolution of the Daleks. That was a couple of months. That
I
feels
said it
like
was absolute
ages
wank.
ago. It feels like it's been years ago since
The sentence.
Revolution. It does feel like we're ready for Series 13 already. But I mean, there's a couple of little things that I need to talk about. The first, which I kind of shoehorned in a bit in the intro, was the new way of doing things. Obviously, you can see our faces this time. This may not continue. It just turned out that while we were about to film, it was like, hey, we both have a bit of a backdrop, and the lighting isn't awful. In fact, if I turned that on, that made it worse. I'm going to turn that back off. And
I can put mine on strobe if you want to, so people with epilepsy.
That'll
just
sound really
die.
weird if you're listening to this on like a visual, not visual platform. But if you
LED
are,
lights,
then excellent. Yeah. So Will's got. Well, I think we need to talk not just about your background, but the obvious, the elephant in the room. The frame
Will
that
Any
you've got in the background.
I know it is a Will Any t-shirt. It will have some explaining to do. Basically, I thought the t-shirt looked cool when I saw him wearing it, and turns out it makes me look like a priest. So not a huge fan.
Yes. My uncle was a priest.
Will Lenny,
uncle? My great uncle was a priest. My granddad's side, his brother was a priest.
I could make so many jokes, but I'm keeping them to myself.
Your hair is like Sharon Osbourne red.
It's not Sharon Osbourne.
It's brighter than Sharon Osbourne. You are Ronald McDonald. You are a member.
He's called me Ronald McDonald at any chance he has gotten.
He's gotten.
Yeah, he's gotten.
You didn't finish the sentence.
Sorry, yeah, you called me Ronald McDonald. Literally, group chat. Shut up, Ronald McDonald. I was like,
yeah.
Just because I called you a nonce on Twitter.
It made no sense. I said something about the TARDIS and how it's like covered up, and it's like they're trying to it's like a child that's just like covered its eyes and just gone, you can't see me, I'm not here. And you were like, you thinking of kids?
My obvious response was, why are you thinking about children? Because obviously he'd have to think about the child covering their eyes. So his obvious response is thinking about children.
What about my own childhood?
Dan, you're a Doctor Who fan. You didn't have one playing with you. So, what we're doing today, Dan?
Well, so this month we are going to be talking, but not limited to, our earliest memories of Doctor Who. We're going to talk about classic. We're going to talk about modern Who. We're going to talk about ourselves at 4. I think it was when it was 2005. We were 4. Well, I was 4.
3.
You would have been 3.
No, because it came out in March.
Yeah,
Oh
and
yeah.
I'm born in February, so that's
You're right.
yeah. So you were
Yeah.
3 and I was 4.
I was 3. You were 4.
And yeah, we're going to be talking about that today. So I don't know where you want to start. Do you want to start with our first episode? And
Our first episode, we can like just remember watching.
well, I see this is a difficult thing for me because I don't remember a lot of series 1, but I've been
I
told
don't.
I watched it. So
To be
because
honest, the only episodes I remember watching as a child was when I say think of Doctor Who as a child, my mind goes straight to the cliffhanger at the end of Stolen Earth, because I
yeah,
asked my dad so many questions like, "Oh my god, is the Doctor regenerated? Oh my god, what's happening? What is the Doctor dead? Oh my god," because I've never seen it before at that point. Because I was 3 when he regenerated, so I didn't really watch it.
So Stolen Earth, did you say?
Stolen Earth is the first. If someone
That's
says think of an
2008.
episode you watched as a child,
Yeah.
think of that one, because
See,
I
I
remember
actually
my
remember
dad being
further
like,
back
"What's
than
going
that.
on?"
Something that one of my earliest things for me was I remember you in the playground. This was many years ago, telling me about when you watched the finale of series 2 and how you and your dad were both upset with the fact Rose left, and it was just after that episode. And you might not remember, but I distinctly remember you talking about Doomsday.
Oh, fair enough
So,
then. So
and
I clearly was watching it.
yeah, and I remember a lot of series 2. You know, I remember not being able to watch the Devil one. The Ood
Oh,
one.
no, I remember Idiot's Lantern. I don't
You
know why,
see,
but
they're
that
coming back to you now, aren't they? Now you think about it,
back to me
like
on the old TV and the soap. Sorry, I'm going back to my
yeah,
childhood now.
and I think with a lot of series 1, I don't remember much of that, but I
Can't
think that
remember a thing.
because series 1 was like a weird oddity to me. It was like, so series 1 is not David Tennant. It's because to me I couldn't, yeah,
For me,
I
David
only just
Tennant was
cope with
when I was a
names at that
child.
point.
David Tennant was always David
Yeah,
Tennant was the Doctor.
Christopher Eccleston just wasn't like, and the others. You knew that they existed, but it was like they're not really the Doctor, for some reason. Well, I was 4, so what do you expect? But David Tennant was just the guy. So Eccleston was like an alien, like in that respect, and I always felt like his episodes were a little bit less cartoony, if that makes sense. I
I
think the
only found his
tone of series 1 is
episodes.
a lot darker than series 2, and that for me meant that I had a less of a connection to series 1.
I only found Christopher Eccleston's episodes when they were played on Watch.
Really?
Because do you remember the channel Watch?
I do. I still have it. I don't.
Oh yeah,
It still exists.
Well, or is it called W now, whatever?
It's called
Well,
W,
it
yeah.
always be Doctor Who, Doctor Who, Doctor Who. Always, I was like, oh my god, Doctor Who. It's like, this isn't the Doctor.
BBC
And
Three reruns of the show.
it could
Doctor
have
Who
been on that as well.
Confidential.
Probably would have been BBC Three.
Yeah,
Confidential, bro. I used to love watching.
Confidentials on. Actually, I have. I was going to tell you this, and I've been meaning to. On YouTube, there is a YouTube channel now called Doctor Who Confidential, like DW Confidential. I think
Yeah.
it's not like an official account, but they are posting, even though they're struggling a bit with Series 3, posting full or as close as they can be to full without being taken down.
Oh shit.
Doctor Who Confidentials.
Oh
Which is
shit.
kind of impressive. And I've watched series 1 and series 2 of them. And it's very interesting because you're
Have
seeing
they ever been Series One? I
they
thought they
did,
only had
yeah.
them Series Two onwards.
The series 1 was more of a like an understanding of kind of like what Doctor Who was than a confidential. It was like looking
Yeah.
back at all the doctors and the monsters
Right.
that he's fought, and where the reference to the Daleks. Like the Dalek episode was all about the Daleks, and they did a bit of
Yeah.
prop and like production and a bit of visual effects, which was interesting. But I mean, for the most part, the whole thing was about the mythology. But I think I may be wrong here, but I'm pretty sure that I have the box sets. Well, I do have the box sets. They're back there, but I have the giant box sets.
Yeah, you
And
have
those.
the huge one. I remember trying to steal them when I was a kid.
No, I've got a bigger one now. Hang on, bear with me.
A bigger one.
I bought this a few months ago. This is like
That's bigger.
This is a cool item that I found. And I didn't realize, but I think it might have been a BBC like shop exclusive, and I got it
Right.
for I think like £10 including postage. And I'll just go and get it.
Okay. I'll entertain you guys. So, what are your thoughts on the current coronavirus pandemic? Hi, Dan.
Hello. What were you talking about while I was gone? Am I going to have to cut it?
No, I was just.
I heard
just
coronavirus pandemic when you came back into the shop.
talking to the viewers.
Okay, be warned because that will probably stay in the shot. But obviously, for visual people that are watching this on YouTube, this will look a lot better. But I'm currently holding up a giant box set that is a TARDIS, but it is like a square, and it's quite big, isn't it?
Not have that one before. I swear you had one
I
like
didn't
that.
know. I had a thin version that I used to be able to
Oh.
watch the show on. But this is like
Oh, you didn't have that. Holy
a
shit.
box version, which is huge.
Is that the TARDIS inside?
Yeah, the idea is that you have like a mini TARDIS.
That's sick.
I'm not displaying it very well in my hands, so probably a good job if you can't actually see it. But yeah, like that's a cool thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
That image you can see kind of there. That's what it looks like. I mean, that's pretty cool.
That's cool, that is, yeah.
But also I didn't have that when I was younger. I think that I know that my mum really liked Series 1. So she bought it. But I didn't have it myself. I'm just gonna move my mic. So you know, for me, I think a lot of my memories of the first series were very like stated. Like I don't think I watched stated. I don't think I watched all of the episodes in series 1 until I was like 13. Like I was definitely I was definitely like it was definitely Capaldi era that I watched series 1 properly. Even though I've been told I've seen it, I never had a connection to it. And that meant that series 2 became the connection. I think I definitely remember series 2. I'm not quite sure if I remember New Earth particularly well. But I remember Cybermen were a big thing for me, and so are Daleks. I think my dad told me once because there was a trailer.
I remember Love and Monsters.
You remember Love and I remember Love and Monsters. I didn't
remember
like
Love and
it.
Monsters.
I was so scared of the Azorbalov. So scared. It was terrifying. And it was just Peter Kay now. I literally could not watch it for years. And of course the Empty Child episode as well. That is terrifying. But as a 4-year-old, the concept of war was so strange to me that it really became a difficult thing to comprehend, which I think made it more scary. And of course, when Richard Wilson gets a big gas mask appearing out of his face, it's horrific. I mean, I'm surprised they got away with it most of the time.
Yeah.
But that's what I remember with series 2. I definitely remember us talking about Doomsday at some point, and I remember
coming back to now talking on the playground,
skipping episodes within series 2 because they were too scary for me, like the Ood one,
or just because I didn't see them.
See, because from what I remember,
I remember my dad crying at the end of Doomsday.
Yes, see, that's what I don't know why it's such a weird thing that I remember, but I remember that.
What, you remember me telling you my dad was crying?
Yeah, seriously. Yeah. So
he was crying.
Yeah, and I remember you saying, because obviously you really liked Rose, and because Rose was our first companion.
I didn't know there was anyone else.
Yeah, we both really clung to Rose, and I suppose that when she went, it was like real sense of grief, because I remember I was inconsolable for a little while. I was really upset. If I remember.
Yeah.
At the end of series 2, it did take me a while to be able to. Well, I mean, I did watch it quite often. That it did lose its spark really quickly, because you and then obviously when you get new opinions and stuff because of the internet, you see things and you like agree with that and you disagree with this and all that kind of stuff. That you kind of change your view a bit. Okay,
I want to know the age I was where I could just like list off every single episode title from the series and quote from the episodes, like just because I can remember doing that all my life, but clearly I couldn't. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it does feel like. I mean, what do you remember when you were 3? You know, it does feel like it's always been there. Because even though I know that I was 3 when 4 when the show started again, it still feels weird that it started 3 years after I was born, 4 years
I
after
remember
I
my
was born, because it always feels
sixth
like it's just been around
birthday.
all the time.
Every single present was Doctor Who related.
Do you remember the TARDIS cakes? You used to get cakes, and David Tennant standing outside of the TARDIS. I remember
I
and then
have the David Tennant cake stand.
not a stand, an actual cake, like a full.
Oh, I didn't have an actual. No, I had
Yeah.
a plastic David Tennant that went on top of the cake. It wasn't a figure or anything. Oh, I've had so many Doctor Who figures. Oh my
We
god.
both, yeah, I did
Um,
as well. I've got mine in the loft. They're in a box. I could have sworn I had more because
I
occasionally I
think I've
remember
lost
them
loads.
and I
That's
don't know where
really
they
worrying.
went. Like
No, me
I
neither.
had
They're
an
just gone.
Ironside Dalek and I don't know where an Ironside Dalek went. Like I knew I had it, but I can't remember what happened to it. And one of the biggest regrets in terms of Doctor Who merchandise for me was, do you remember there's a remote control, quite big Dalek?
Oh, you fucking had one of them.
I had 2 at one point.
You,
Because I had one and it got broken because the ears came off. Because
you want
I
to
was just
talk about a
vigorous with the
broken
poor
Dalek?
thing.
You want to talk about a broken Dalek? Give us
You're gonna
2 seconds. This thing has been with me through my entire life. I don't know when I got it, but it's made it through.
Wow. Is that one of your? What's that from? Is that from what episode? Oh, that must be from
Uh,
Dalek. Hang
or
on, I've never seen that.
you've never seen one of them? I
No.
think it's
Oh,
from.
I need to point out what you're showing.
Oh,
So
sorry.
because I
This
forget
is a.
that we're doing a
It's
podcast because I'm looking at your face.
it's an attempt. It's a Dalek figure which I've had for years.
It's very
So the
shiny.
eye stalker's fallen off.
Yeah, lost an eye
The
stalk. Lost a
sucker
sucker. It's got a
thing
weird
has fallen off.
egg whisk, isn't it? From this
It,
angle, it
it
looks a bit
only had a
thick.
whisk.
That might be like a series one because the size of it looks weird. You know, there's something
Maybe.
glowy about it. Like the other ones were more of a matte.
Maybe.
Maybe you
Yeah.
have an original. Because
Oh,
I
let's
definitely
check
don't.
it
I
out. It's got
definitely don't have one like that.
the boy inside.
The boy inside. Do you mean the Dalek mutant?
The
Yeah.
Dalek. The actual Dalek.
Yeah.
And yeah, he's destroyed. But he goes on my shelf.
Yes, I don't. I wish I had some more of that stuff, but I just don't. But when that big Dalek thing that I was talking about, I went to a toy fair once and I saw a boxed one, and it brought back the memory of it. And it was big, it was boxed, and they were selling it for 200 quid. And I sat there like, I used to have one of them.
200 quid.
Yeah, I was like, I used to have one of them Daleks. It's such a strange thing for me. But obviously, a big thing for me was always the Cybermen. So I remember the Cybermen figures and
Did you have the like
figures.
big, like the kind of tall ones?
Yeah, I had
That had the
I had
really
some of them.
movable legs, and they were just
Yeah.
because they had the black and literally you could see the black in
I
between.
even remember who got me one for my birthday one year.
I had
So,
two of them Cybermen.
I might have had 2 as well. I got the in the loft. I mean, I need to do a video on this at some point. I did, but then I kind of lost it. I lost the footage from it.
I grew up, got out my Doctor Who phase, and now I wish I never threw them stuff away.
You threw them away.
Well, I'm guessing it would have been when we moved house, and Mum was
Oh
like,
yeah.
"Do you still play with toys?" I wish if it was back then, I'd gone, "They are not toys.
They're collectible
They are
action
collectible
figures.
items."
Yeah, they are rare. They're worth an awful lot of money
They
on
are
eBay.
now.
Some of them, especially if you've got box ones. But they do appear quite often. They're not like the rare items, really, are they? But they're just sort of harder to come by because, like, a lot of people have grown up and thrown them out or whatever. But I think I've got some in the loft, but I do hope that some more turn up at some point.
I've got a Jadoon figure, which is totally mine.
Did you nick the Jadoon off me or something?
No, you know who I nicked Jadoon off.
Oh yes, it's just occurred. Yeah, sorry.
Exactly.
Took me a minute.
And I'll show you another thing. I'm just looking at my shelf now.
You just say, "I'll show you this." This is not Will's display showcase.
box set collection. I'm going to look at my 2-shelf collection.
By the way, you cut out because I think I was speaking and I think I dominated your audio.
You did look at my like bookshelf collection. I'm now going to look at my 2 nerd shelves collection. Okay, let me do this. Right.
Have a look at Will's shelves. In a podcast, Will. In a podcast, let's look at Will's shelves.
Right, okay. Here we go. This is everything I have Doctor Who. So
You brought everything. That's not enough stuff in your hand to be everything.
No, well, there probably is more, but I just can't be able to properly look for it in the loft. So,
Could get comfy.
just put the earphones back in. I think everyone has one of these. It's a TARDIS. It's Matt Smith's TARDIS. Everyone's got one of them.
I didn't have a Matt Smith TARDIS, but I always had a David Tennant TARDIS.
No, you didn't have a TARDIS. You had a coin box.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I did. I do still have the playset for.
I remember you just spinning that on my finger.
That.
And then I got this for Christmas. An adipose.
An adipose. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm probably
now
going to
these
cut
little
this,
fuckers. What?
This is not going to translate very well.
You better not cut this. And these little fuckers, right? These Cybermats. I've got so many of these.
The little Cybermat collection.
No, they came with a B&M Doctor and Clara. I cannot find the Doctor and Clara though, because I really wish I could.
But you have all the Cybermats.
Yeah.
Okay.
I put the Cybermats in the TARDIS.
The bits that are easier to lose, you still have, but you've lost the giant.
And the Doctor and Clara.
5.5 figures. Okay.
Because the B&M Doctor and Clara now would sell for loads.
Mm.
Oh well.
I mean, B&M figures are such a strange thing now because
so
now I think about it,
made, but more wanted. It's so weird.
I wouldn't say they're poorly made. I mean, sometimes when I look at them, I'm just like, oh, you've got a bit of a dodgy cast, or like, that kind of stuff. There does seem to be a less of a playability with these. They do when I was dusting the other day, and while I was dusting it, I really had to turn his head because his head was quite stiff. And I think the playability of them has gone down. But I suppose that children now, I mean, children's a weird term. I suppose we're still children. Children now are
not
kind of used to the idea of the B&M sets and all that kind of stuff. Like a Toys R Us, like saying to them that we used to go into Toys R Us. And there used to be a giant display.
Toys R Us.
I mean, I'm glad that a lot of people share this memory because it does. It's a great memory of all that Doctor Who merchandise and stuff there. I mean, it's such a shame to me that I was too young to buy it. The stuff,
yeah,
because I was just too young. It wasn't my money; it was my parents' money. So the ability to get a figure often was not really possible like it is now. Like
I would, if I were back, right, I'd just spend so much on Doctor Who shit. So much.
Yeah. I mean, I think I still do. I try to control it as much as I can.
I spent 60 quid on a pack of
I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't spend 60 quid on screwdrivers.
But you spend 60 quid on DVDs.
Big Finish. Yeah.
on audio.
Yeah. No, I always get the physical things, so that's the issue with my collection is that I always buy the physical things. But there was kind of things to do with like the display and the merchandise at the time when we were younger is all.
I remember the Toys R Us aisle.
Just Doctor Who nostalgia, isn't it? And people now younger people
that
now.
Gold and red color was everywhere.
Yeah. The kind of fans of sort of Matt Smith sort of series 5 onwards, the ones that came on during that time, or your Matt Smith is your Doctor kind of thing, like David Tennant is ours. It's a very strange thing to think that you.
Then I think he was about. I think Matt Smith merchandise was still about as much as David Tennant. It just the colours weren't as poppy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I think it dwindled a lot over the.
It definitely dwindled, but I remember having an Impossible Astronaut figure. I don't know where that's gone now. Obviously, his TARDIS. his sonic screwdriver. You know, it was still about.
There was a lot of items, and I think it did then went down and became all about the collector route, less than the child
Mm.
route.
And
Over time.
you don't get anything anymore, do you? What do you get now? A screwdriver, and that's it.
There are B&M sets. You've cut
Where's
out
the
again.
character options?
There are B&M sets, and there's always talk about Lego Doctor Who.
They've been talking about. Well, there's talk about making a Lego Doctor Who game for the 60th,
Yeah,
isn't there?
I've seen
I don't
that,
think it's
but
going to happen.
I don't know. I really don't think that Lego would go, oh, Doctor Who would be a good franchise
Well, it's
because,
not Lego. It's TTT Games, and they're apparently massive fans. I guess we both still the same TikTok.
yeah, I think we did.
Yeah.
For me, when I saw that, I was like, okay, it's all about Whovians and sort of, I can't see the people that normally play Lego games, like the Marvel fans and all that kind of stuff. The Doctor and that kind of translation into games is a lot different to the translation from Spider-Man.
Speaking of translation into games, have you played The Lonely
I have
Assassin
not
yet?
played The Lonely Assassin. I was going to give you time to talk about this at some point as well.
Okay.
But because I know you would want to. But should we move on to sort of Series 3 kind of nostalgia and memories of that? Because
The
for me,
only
I
kind
feel
of
like that's where the earliest memories for me
Gridlock.
start.
I remember Gridlock. I remember really, really liking Gridlock. Is that the episode?
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought it was called Motorway for some reason. No, it's definitely called Gridlock. I
For me, it
remember
was always
that
about the
whole
Daleks,
Tenant jumping
Cybermen.
down scene. I
Yeah.
thought that was amazing. The human Dalek. I remember him. I have a figure of him somewhere.
Yep, sorry.
Sorry.
Yeah, there's a
Yeah.
lot of elements like that I liked, and I think was drawn to while I was younger. But for me, I think that's where the kind of from Series 4 onwards, I remember all of them.
Season 4 onwards is just clear as anything.
Because I remember,
apart from when I died, I kind of lost interest in Series 8 to Series 9. I still obviously watched it when it was on, but it wasn't like, oh my god, Doctor Who this week, everyone shut up, where it is now. So.
because I used to not watch him live like I did. But obviously when you get to that stage in Doctor Who where everything becomes clearer, there seems to be a nice sort of thing about the older ones because for me, Series 1, 2, 3 always going to be special because they're the ones that I don't remember watching, but I remember bits of.
You remember parts of it. That's what Series 4 for me. That's that one for me.
And like Series 4, we might as well talk about a few of our Series 4 bits. I remember waiting because Strictly Come Dancing used to be on always before Doctor Who. So it used to be that, then Doctor Who, or that and then Merlin.
Oh no, Merlin was afterwards. Oh, that was good.
I've been watching Merlin for the last couple of weeks, and I watched the Series 3 finale, and I remembered nothing of it. I don't remember. The whole. I don't really want to spoil it for some reason. Something that came out nearly 11 years ago.
Years, Dan. I don't think it's spoilers.
But the round table, the Morgana reveal, all that kind of stuff happens within that episode, and I knew what the end was, and I knew where it was going. I knew what should happen in this series. But at the same time, there was a bit of a I don't know, and part of me while I sat there, and I was like, I really want to go back to when this show originally came out, and to be able to watch it week by week, and kind of enjoy it that way. Because now I can four episodes a day sometimes. Probably not now that everyone's off school and everything like that, but that kind of younger mind, I suppose, is something I think I miss now, because obviously it means I think I said in a comment a little while ago about how the 13th Doctor may not be special to me, and I really don't want to talk about the Timeless Children because people, us especially, always jump to the Timeless Children if we're talking about Doctor Who. At some point, it becomes about Chibnall, and we always relate it back to even if we're talking about series 3, it becomes let's talk about series 3. But isn't wasn't
Let's
series
talk about
3
how he
way
didn't
better
like
than the Timeless
Moffat.
Children and everything like that?
Let's talk about how when it was first aired, we didn't like Moffat,
Yeah, it's like everyone loves Moffat
and
now.
now I
That's
want him
changed
back
quickly, didn't it?
more than anything.
Yeah.
I was so
Yeah,
excited for
I
Chibnall.
remember.
I remember literally being around your house being like, "Go on, Chibnall!" But
Yeah, it's interesting that I think that for me, the kind of series 10 and series 9 and things like that was something that I was thought were a bit weak. And I think over
yeah,
time things have changed. But going back to what I was saying, the whole sort of cynical brain that I now have because I'm older, because I look at things at a more of an objective viewpoint instead of, and I see what they're trying to do. I understand the subtlety, the messages, all that kind of stuff, the subtext, the messages that they go with each episode, all that kind of stuff. I understand that now, and that's something that I didn't understand before. And I kind of wish that I could see episodes like like Jodie's run with that younger mindset, because I think it's all about entertainment is partly due
well, I
to
feel that's what they're kind of.
the
That's what
time.
I feel. Series 11, they were aiming at that group, weren't they? They were
Yeah,
aiming it
yeah,
at. But
younger
then
people.
Series 12, I don't know what they were doing. Series 12, we
But
don't talk about it.
I think to go back and to, be that kid again, and to watch Woman Who Fell to Earth and Spyfall, all that kind of stuff. I wonder how my younger version of myself would react, because I think that if you take away the kind of fandom element to it.
Mm.
And at this point, I'm so bored of talking about the Timeless Children. I
I'm
did
so
the
bored about talking about Doctor
video
Who.
on it, and it kind of, it sunk really, didn't it? My mind thinks to myself, why are we still talking about the Timeless
That's a
Children
shite
a
thumbnail. I
year
told you
later? Um,
that. What a
you know,
shite
you see,
thumbnail. I
it
told
always
you it was a shit
always
thumbnail.
goes back to the Timeless Children.
What was it? What out of 10 was it?
What out of 10? What do you mean?
What out of 10? What, like, when you upload a video, was it a 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10, 8 out of 10?
Do you mean in my view thing
Yeah,
of the month?
yeah.
Don't know.
Oh, well, never mind. Talk
It
more
was 8.
YouTube stuff.
It was 8.
Well, that's not too bad, you know.
Yeah. Eighth
Anyway,
video. But I think to because there's loads of children right now that will dress up as the 13th Doctor and all that kind of stuff, and I think that in the future, those fans that will then become like us and do their podcasts, whatever, if podcasts are even a thing, in the future.
we stream straight to the brain
Yeah,
next.
stream to their earpods,
But,
AirPods and
I ain't touching them stuff. I ain't touching that.
all that kind of stuff. I think that maybe they will look at series 11, series 12, series 13 possibly as in the way that we look at series 1, 2, 3, etc.
Yeah,
And I hope they do, to be honest.
yeah. Because I just have loving it. I remember my dad cried at several moments in that show.
Yeah.
I remember my mum was actually into Doctor Who, which I
Mhm.
never thought would happen.
Oh.
She just can't stand it now. But when it
No.
was Tennant and obviously end of season 4, she was like, she was. I don't know if it was just her pretending, obviously, because we as kids we liked it, but it seemed like she was into it.
Yeah, I suppose you have to be a bit, don't you? I think there's
Mm.
loads of things that I think our parents were pretending like they're
Yeah,
into. Like, my dad likes Star Trek. He likes original series Star Trek.
never seen it.
It's weird because I'm sorry for any Star Trek fans out there, but when I watch it, I'm always like, why is it that they're nearly always topless or getting whipped? There's always some kind of thing happening there each time that I watch or see a glimpse of an episode. There is always
It was
some
the
weird
70s.
like subtext that you could take from each episode, from a lot of the ones I've seen. I just think it's a bit weird. And I think that it's dated. But I suppose I do intend at some point to watch it. But there's also obviously a lot to watch.
Talk about dated. What's your earliest classic Doctor Who memory? Because I have one
Hey,
quite
nice
vivid.
one, nice one.
I'm good at this podcast game now.
Mine. Okay, so do you remember? You might not, but my granddad anyway used to have CDs with just one episode on them, but with the Sun. They had like Sun
Oh, the
promotional
sun.
things.
Sorry, my dad got the same.
Yeah, well, my first episode of Doctor Who was Earthshock.
Oh, mine was Spearhead from
You
Space.
see, very good episodes. But was it for me? I don't know if it's like
Only part
you,
one, because it was
but
only the
it was
sun.
only part one.
Only part one.
Yeah,
And I
exactly.
remember the only thing about that episode, me and my brother called it the Doctor with the Nasty Fall because
Oh,
he
yeah,
falls.
I remember you doing that, and I didn't watch the
Yes.
episode, so I was confused.
No, we literally just called it the Doctor. We had no clue what was going on. We saw the Doctor fell out the
Yeah, hang
TARDIS.
on,
We
keep
knew the
talking.
TARDIS from
Back,
David
I don't
Tennant.
want to
It was
talk
the
to this
Doctor with the
microphone.
Nasty Fall.
Back in a minute.
Don't worry, I'll entertain them. Yeah, the Doctor with the Nasty Fall, and that's all we remember of it. Yeah, it was on the Sun CDs. I can't watch Doctor anymore. So, guys, with the current coronavirus pandemic, are you guys looking forward to the 12th of April when shops open back up? Me too. It means I can go back to work. Looking forward to pubs opening. I am. I quite like to go for a pint. Should we do a podcast in a pub? Podcast in a pub. You know what? Next episode, or when we can, it will be in a pub. Podcast in a pub. Dan doesn't know this yet. We will do a podcast in a pub with the boys in a pub.
What are you doing? I need to stop leaving. Right.
No,
So
you
I
don't.
actually went. So my granddad only like a month ago
Is that
gave
Spearhead from
me
Space? I see.
the DVDs that I used to watch at his house. So that he had loads. He had Earthshock, he had Spearhead, he had Day of Armageddon. I think it's called From Dalek's Master Plan. He
My
had an episode of The
dad
Faceless Ones, Robots of
Faceless
Death.
ones. Yeah, I got that one. I
There
got
was a couple of like New
Hartnell
Who
one. I can't remember
ones.
which
Yeah,
Hartnell one it was
that's
though.
Day of Armageddon.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
that those kind of ones, and then my
Earthshock.
dad gave me some ones from his work because he works with televisions and DVD players, so they test them and they used tests of Doctor Who episodes because they're like 20 minutes each, so that
Yeah.
they put the disc in and it plays, and then after that they prove that the thing works. So they used to use
Yeah.
them, so I got some more. Some of them were duplicates,
Mm.
but some of them were like new. So like, I think I got a couple of like audio book things. I think there was a few discs that were just like books. I had there's a book about a pirate ship that I haven't read yet, but I
have
bought
quite a
it
few
in a
books.
charity shop, and I have the audio version of it as well.
I have quite a few books. I can't remember what the books were called.
No,
I have a lot of the
I
new,
have
the
some.
9 and 10 Doctor books.
Dark Smith Legacy was something I had because obviously my reading ability wasn't very good when I was younger. I was bought them in one of those sort of like passing, like, do you know when you get those things at school that are like they give you them and they're like a leaflet full of books, and I
Do
was
you
given
remember?
a leaflet full of books, and
Do
there's a
you
Doctor Who one.
remember the 10th Doctor Decide Your Own Destiny books?
I don't have the 10th Doctor ones, but I have an 11th Doctor one.
Bro, the 10th Doctor Decide Your Own Destiny books was so good. Honestly, that's the only time I would read, because it'd be like, go this way and Sonic the Machine and escape the monster, or fight the monster head on and the Doctor. Bro, they were so good.
Bro, they
You
were
need to
crazy.
if you can find them anywhere, 10th Doctor Decide Your Own Destiny books, banging.
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 But anyway, back to
Back
these
to classic.
DVDs of Classic Who. So I have Spearhead. This one's got a rip in it, but because I
Doctor of the
couldn't find
Nasty
the other one.
Fall!
That's Spearhead Part 1 there. And behind that is the actual copy that I had of
Earthshock.
Part 1. And obviously...
What was the green one? I had a green one. What was that? Was that Faceless one?
Stretch. Day of Armageddon, probably.
Yes, that one.
And there's one for the Faceless Ones, which
Faceless
is
ones.
Pertwee. I've got a few of that.
Yeah,
I don't know if
Part
I
one.
have all of them, but I have a couple of the classic ones, and these were like our first connections to.
I had a blue one. I had a No, it was a second Doctor Blue one as well. What it was,
Don't know.
I'm not sure. I will find out when I go to my dad's.
I could have sworn it was Faceless ones because
Was there only one? It might have been. Might have been.
I can't see. I don't think I've seen another one. But obviously
I
they
had
were.
Army of Ghosts and Doomsday on them discs as well.
Yeah, there was some of them, but I feel like I need to give more context because I'm not to these where
Oh,
these
yeah.
discs come from. So these were done by the Sun, and they're a newspaper in England. They
Everyone
are
that watches is
promotional
British.
use, really. They're promotional material for the DVD releases of episodes. So the Earthshock DVD, for example, with the Earthshock one, they give you part one in order for you to then go out and buy the full 4 episodes. Because it's a kind of a nasty trick, really, isn't it? Because
Pyramid scheme.
when it's not pyramid scheme. When I saw this, and I was like, a Dalek, a Cyberman story, excellent. So I was like, oh, better watch this with
There's
my
not a
granddad.
single Cyberman in part
There is
one.
no Cybermen until the last shot, and so I've watched that that first episode many times, but never watched the other 4 until I started watching Classic Who when I was like 14, 15.
Last year.
I've
given up already.
Yeah, but so these are kind of a bit cheeky salesman things, basically, that will get you to that will only give you one part of the story in order for you to buy the other.
And that's what I remember of classic Doctor Who. The Doctor with the
That's
nasty
what I always
ball.
had. Obviously with things like BritBox and stuff like that, it's a lot easier to get them because there was this period which was only last year where you could only get a lot of Classic Who through discs
On Daily Motion.
or illegally. That was it. That was the only way you can get any Classic Who was to do that.
Yeah.
But nowadays, you got BritBox, so it's all widely available. Are there any other pieces of
If anybody knows how to play the adventure games, please let us know in the comments. Please.
I know that people have played the ones that used to be on the Doctor Who website, which is, I suppose a bit of
the
trivia.
The Dalek one with the
Nostalgia
deafening
for us.
exterminate.
Yeah, it's like a soundbite, isn't it? They've taken it from the episode. It just
And it's so
screams
loud.
it. I mean, maybe it was the bad quality speakers we had back then, because
I thought I was like Zack Snyder when I made them trailers. They were just so good.
Sorry, you cut out. So the trailer maker thing.
The trailer maker. Do you remember the trailer maker?
I do. I was so impatient. I couldn't use it.
I thought I was like Zack Snyder making that. I thought it was like, Dad, look how good these are, and it's just the Doctor. And I'm the Doctor from Gallifrey. Da, 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 da. And it's the void of the damn clip cut straight. Oh, I thought I was everything.
So, I mean, there's a lot of nostalgia in there for us earlier Doctor Who fans. I'm sure that there's a lot more for
nostalgias.
Yeah, I suppose Sarah Jane Adventures. Torchwood. I mean, I didn't watch Torchwood.
I didn't watch it
for a while, but I remember seeing the beginning moments of Series 2, Episode 1.
I remember Children
with the blowfish driving a sports car.
I remember Children of Earth, and then Mum being like, bedtime.
Yeah, I do remember watching the beginning of an episode of Miracle Day. Because I was terrible at going to bed. Nowadays, I probably could go to bed early. But now, when I was younger, going to bed at 9 was just such a horrible thing that you did in your day.
9.
So you would. I mean, 9 at a stretch. 9 if you're lucky was like.
Yeah, you were lucky if you got to watch Confidential.
So I saw that, and obviously Sarah Jane. I think we probably should touch upon that quickly as well, if we talked about just about everything else.
Can't honestly remember watching live any episodes of Sarah Jane.
I do.
I remember watching snippets because Monday afternoon I had swimming. So the only snippets of Sarah Jane.
So you watched the cliffhangers.
No, the only snippets of Sarah Jane I get was getting changed after swimming. It would be on TV, obviously the TVs in the changing rooms.
Right.
I had to try and watch Sarah Jane whilst getting changed with naked men walking.
You had a television in your changing room?
Yes. Am I like Total Fitness? Of course I did. And then
You went to a lovely gym then, didn't you, for
I
your
know it sounds weird, naked men
lessons?
walk around. That was kind of normal back then. You would have just naked men walking through the changing rooms.
Well, I always went in the women's because
Yeah,
my mum was with me, not my dad.
I have my
So
dad.
yeah, um, maybe the guys does have a TV. But I feel like that besides the point of it going swimming would be to watch television.
Yeah, the
But
only
I
clips of Sarah Jane I would get was trying to get changed after swimming, so I never really saw Sarah Jane. That's why I really want them to release them on BBC iPlayer, so I could actually finally watch Sarah Jane.
I have some box sets you could probably borrow. I've got series one and series two. That's all I've got. But for me, I remember things like I was terrified by everything. Like I'm really scared of clowns. So Bradley Walsh dressed as a clown terrified me. And that whole episode terrified me. Could not sleep for a week.
Graham as a
Um,
clown. Where's Graham as a clown?
then things like the Nightmare Man. That scared me.
Ooh, that
Judy in
was
Bleach is an
scary. That was on with
excellent,
Luke, wasn't it?
yeah, excellent actor. The guy that plays Davros, excellent actor. So he played that, and then of course there was there was a lizard thing that used to
Oh,
take over Sarah Jane a lot, and I can't remember what he's called, but he was like a prisoner. There's an episode called The Prisoner of,
Anthrax.
and yeah, it begins with an A. And I'm gonna call him Mandrax. He used to terrify me. I sat there. I was like, why does this reptile scare me? Like, I think a lot of it was the kind of the there's no sort of defender in the way that there is in Doctor Who.
I remember trying to link
Maybe.
Sarah Jane Adventures to Doctor Who by literally any means possible, or no, or like the real world in a way. So this is gonna sound quite weird, but this is how I saw it as a kid. There's one episode where everyone forgets Sarah Jane and is kind of is replaced by this one lady. Yeah,
Yeah, that's the Temptation of Sarah Jane Smith.
yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
it's in series one.
I think I saw that episode about a few weeks before Elizabeth Sladen sadly passed away. But in my mind, that was oh, they're replacing her with her. While
Right.
I was young, you know what I mean. So I thought,
Okay.
oh, so it's going to carry on, and they're just going to replace Sarah Jane. So
So you forgot that episode was like 5 years ago.
yeah,
Right.
because I would have seen a repeat.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
Okay. Yeah. But there's loads. I think I always found Sarah Jane's Adventures way scarier than just Doctor Who. Like
oh, I think it probably was.
I just found it all terrifying. Like because there was no doctor, you kind of lacked that safety net, and because it was over not one night but two nights.
Monday and Tuesday.
Because the Monday night used to have the villain kind of winning in some
Yeah,
respect. I don't think that helped. Um,
yeah.
Sometimes I was fine, but they did try and go for with to scare kids a lot, didn't they? That kind of they did a lot of ghost episodes and there's a lot of sort of scary little uh things within them. What was scary for me when I was younger.
Yeah. What are there? Are there like episodes you remember, not when you were as young, but still kind of young, that gave you like literal nightmares?
I mean, I'm thinking about it. A town called Mercy
Give you
in
nightmares?
2013.
Yeah.
So I was only
Oh God, I
I'm
think
doing math 10
Yeah.
or 11.
Or 10 or 11.
Yeah, so I was 10 or 11, and for some reason that image of the robot sheriff really scared me. Not when the episode
Right.
came out, but when the trailer came out, and I think I was at my auntie's house, and I think my parents went out. It was like their anniversary or something, so we were at my auntie and uncle's house, and we were playing on this laptop that we've been given as like a second-hand laptop.
Yeah.
And it was like, what do we do? What do we do? And I sat there with my time on it and went, I'm going to go and look at Doctor Who stuff on the internet. So I typed in Doctor Who, and that day was the day that the trailer came out,
Right.
or thereabouts for Town Called Mercy. So for the Series 7. So there's all types of Series 7 stuff. There was the image of the gunslinger, which
Yeah.
terrified me, and even when the episode came out, I was still a bit scared of it.
Mm.
But I think a lot of that was not because it was actually scary, but because I worked myself up into thinking it was scary. Yourself?
My yeah, it's from the Doctor's wife, and it's this one bit where Amy just keeps finding Rory older and older and older
Yeah.
and older,
Yeah.
and I don't know why that just it just scared me so much that I just because that bit stuck in my mind, and at night that was what happened to me. I was Rory, and it was just so fucking weird.
Right. Interesting.
But yeah, but then I was like, I watch it fine. I look back and go, I was scared of that. Like I thought it was scary as it was. I didn't really feel like watching it again, but then I did. I was like, it was that I was scared of.
I mean, yeah, there's a lot of things that you sit there and you're like, seriously? You know, it's like Sarah Jane
Yeah,
Adventures. I sat there and I thought Bradley Walsh dressed as a clown was so scary. You know, I mean, even if I have a favorite clowns, that's still pretty silly. But I think
I
there's
thought
loads
the
of little
Mona
things
Lisa
like
was
that.
attractive.
There's loads of little weird things that you kind of pick up on it when you're younger.
I
But
preferred Maria when I was younger.
Maria,
Ooh.
oh, yeah, I remember Maria. Um, well,
Did you say Morty, like Rick and
no,
Morty?
Maria, but my voice went weird. Um,
Morty.
because I've been drinking. I just did it again because I've been drinking water. I haven't got the deepness in my voice. Right.
Exclusive.
Are you finished with all your Doctor Who nostalgia based stuff?
Um, I think so.
Okay, so a couple of
Oh, do you
things.
remember? Sorry, one last thing.
What
Do you remember the crappy 12th Doctor reveal?
did they do a whole show for it?
They did. They did a whole show for
Now,
it.
this is not. This is not. I wouldn't call it nostalgia because it was like. No, it was
Um,
2013. This was. If I could go back to a year, in Doctor Who's history, I'd go back to 2013, because I felt like I was young enough to understand that it was
yeah,
cool,
I
but at the
would. And I
same
go
time,
back
I
to
was
watch Day
not
of the Doctor.
within anything like this, like I am now. You know,
Mm.
I didn't have Twitter or Instagram or Facebook or anything. You know, I
Oh,
couldn't
God, you
see
wouldn't
all
want
of the
Twitter.
cool
I
stuff
bet back
happening.
then Twitter was all right.
You know, I couldn't see all that cool stuff, and I feel like
Yeah,
I might have missed out on some stuff.
I would go to the cinema.
Yeah, see, yeah, me too. I would have probably done that. Um, you
If
know,
they if they if they do anything with the 60th, I'm going. I'm spending money to see the 60th. Of course, I am.
and there was that. I mean, there was that live show as well after it that was a bit weird,
Did
bit
you
awkward.
go to? Was it? Did you ever go to a Doctor Who kind of music show? I don't know what it was. There was one in Nottingham I
Well,
went
like a
to.
proms thing.
It was yeah, it was kind of like a proms, but it wasn't at the proms. It was like it was pretty much it was when Matt Smith was the Doctor because it was a Matt Smith video message on screen, being like, "Hello, I'm the Doctor," blah 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 blah, and all the monsters come down to all the music. It was in Nottingham. My brother and my mum. It was fantastic. The Silurians were there. They were brilliant. And I can't remember the lad's
That's
called.
probably a proms thing, or
Probably
like an experience,
it was
like a Doctor Who
probably
experience. Yeah,
Doctor
something like that. I don't
Experience.
think I ever
Yeah,
went to one of them. Um,
yeah. Just talk about.
Not really my family's thing anyway. Going to concerts of any kind. But obviously you know, I'd go back to 2013 if I could. But with 2013, like you were talking about the Peter Capaldi reveal, I don't know who I really wanted to be the Doctor, but when I saw Peter Capaldi, I was like, that's not really what I was expecting.
I was like, I didn't like him because the Doctor's not old.
Yeah, I think I had the same reaction just because we had younger
Because we
in the
have Tennant
past.
and
Yeah.
Smith.
It was, and I remember my mum. This article. I don't know how it was considered journalism in any way, but it said that the doctor's first word, the new doctor's first words, were shush. And then apparently that means that he's going to be a darker Doctor and all that kind of stuff. No, he's just sarcastic and he's silly and like things like that, isn't he? Really,
To be fair,
Ollie.
I'm quite glad I wasn't. I don't know because I feel like at this moment I'm so when I at this age and like for me like 2 years ago, mainly a year ago to be honest, I've been so into everything Doctor Who news. I'm on it. I know everything. I know everything. Season 13 filming photos. I've seen them. I know it. I wish back then I kind of knew the same things because then you know what I mean. That back then I was like episode here, watch it. Wow, that's cool. Next episode. Where now I'd be like looking at YouTube reviews. What did you think of these? Like all I had back then was your YouTube reviews, Dan. Do you know what I mean?
I didn't even do them back then.
You didn't. You did in series 8? No, 10.
9. I did ones for 9,
Series
and I
9.
got rid of them.
You
Uh,
like Hell Bent.
I yeah. I don't know. Did I? I can't. I don't think so. I think I felt like I can't remember. I deleted them. I don't know if I liked Hellbent or not. Do you want to talk about the other thing that you've been dying to talk about? So this it goes into the whole new idea that we
Dog the
have
Alphas.
with okay has this new idea thing about sort of talking more about Doctor Who in general instead of focusing on a point, because I think I was trying to bridge the gap between podcast and between
Video.
video,
I
and
make a
I think
podcast a
that
longer video.
this should be a bit more of a
Just
free
ramble what you
conversation
like, really, isn't it? Yeah.
recently, yeah. So I'm going to open the floor at this point of the
Whoa.
podcast. The floor's open. And I would like to talk
Whoa.
about just the things
Sorry.
that you've been thinking about this month in terms of Doctor Who. If you've had
Okay.
any epiphanies and all that kind of stuff, I will be back in a minute because I have an epiphany that I'd like to talk about.
Okay.
You can
Me
go on yours. I'll be over here.
will do. I obviously, as you'll know, the Doctor Who Lonely Assassin game came out. I pre-ordered it. Did I pre-order it? I can't remember. No, I bought it on day of release. Steam version. I didn't buy it on the phone. I bought it on Steam. I played it up until about 4 o'clock in the morning. I say it downloaded around about 11. I played it up until 4 o'clock in the morning. And I'm really not a fan of it, to be honest. I just feel like it's not targeted at my age demographic. It's
No.
the puzzles are super easy. It's like you don't even need to do anything. It's like scroll down on the mouse until the screen flashes yellow and then click this. That's all you have to do. There's no it's titled as a horror game and there's nothing scary about it. The Weeping Angels, one of the most scariest Doctor Who villains, are not scary. They try and I just find it cringy. I can't get into the story. Osgood, I like Osgood, but now she just seems really. She's clingy. I know it sounds really like weird, but she's clingy. She constantly is there. Like, if I want to explore the phone at my own speed, let me explore the phone at my own speed. If I want to literally see if I can type into the search bar, something. Don't say
something. What
I
are you going
wasn't.
to type
No,
in?
no. I wasn't going to type in porn up. Don't worry. No, no. Like if I want, do you know what I mean? It feels very restricted of what you
Yeah.
can actually do.
So you feel like the game is supposed to be an exploratory game where you explore things,
Well, that's
and
what it was
and
targeted
yet
as.
you feel
That's what it was
limited
marketed
by
as.
that. That
You're very limited. You've got
yeah.
it's a very straight line story, and obviously there is a story you have to follow. Like, don't get me wrong, I realise that, but I feel like there should be a bit more exploration through the phone of what you have to do. Like, you literally have mail, chats, browser, gallery. You literally have 4 apps to find clues on. Browser, there's 4 websites you choose, and one of them is only just for a Doctor Who Easter egg saying blue box spotted in Paris. Spoilers, by the way. One of them is
Well, don't explain the full game. I haven't played it yet.
No, I'm talking about the websites.
Yeah.
One of them is obviously a missing person website, And that bit was fun because obviously you kind of match bits together, and that bit I kind of felt clever because I was matching dates to dates and obviously looking at when things were sent. I really don't want to spoil it for you, Dan.
Don't just
No, I'm not
you
spoiling it.
feel
I'm just
like
saying
it's talking
the
down to you and it's quite
it's
restricted.
talking down to you. I feel like it's aimed at a very. The thing is, it's a mobile game,
Yeah.
so you'd think it would be for a little bit of an older demographic, but
Well,
it's
I wouldn't
very.
say so. I think that, you know, a lot of children are more likely to play the apps than elder people.
Yeah, I get that, but then it's also like I think even some children would be like, this is
Yeah.
still talking down to me. Like I like the idea of a game where it's like it has you an end objective, and you're like, how do I get to that objective? You know what I mean? I don't
Hmm.
want to be handheld through the entire thing of Osgood going, have you checked the chats? Have you checked the gallery? Have you checked the browser? Look at this website. Oh, look, this was spotted here. Osgood, I can do that on my own. I know, like, I want to kind of.
Do you think the game was worried about you getting stuck and then just giving
Yeah,
up?
it's marketed out. Like, do you know what I mean? It's marketed as you get a phone, you find out what happened to the person,
There seem
isn't
to
it?
have been like a lot of videos, like stuff filmed. Did you get any of that? I know you didn't finish the game,
Um,
but you did get a good way through it
no,
within
there
the
are a
hours.
few. Um, and again, there's so many missed opportunities of the Weeping Angels
But I mean,
because they're
you know,
so.
it's money though, isn't it? I mean, I'm
Well, I
sure that
know,
they
but
would
it's
love to
so
do a lot of the
predictable.
cool
It's
stuff.
so predictable. Like for example, there's this one photo in the gallery, right, where I guess they're going off the law. An image of an angel becomes an angel. You know that stuff which Moffat set up,
Hmm.
but they don't stick to that law. So there's one time we swiping through the gallery and you see a photo of Weeping Angel, like, oh my god, Weeping Angel. Now, what I would expect. Now, I know people feel like, oh, it's going off with your expectations, but it's just missed opportunities. Like, surely if you go to the next photo, then go back, it would be more scarier if the Weeping Angel wasn't there in the same photo which he was. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, like
But
I
it's so
if you're making interactive media, then I'm surprised
yeah,
that it isn't interactive. Like,
interactive at all. It's literally press a button, tap the screen or click the screen where the thing flashes yellow,
mhm. It's all
reply
like
to
just
Oz
press this kind of thing
reply to
because
Osgood's 4 paragraphs about X. It's just, it's just I can't get into it. I'll finish it, but I can't get into it.
for me, I think that if you're given something that is interactive, you know,
Yeah,
it has to be even, you know, if you looked at, you know, Bandersnatch, that Black Mirror
Bandersnatch.
film, you know, you could choose your destiny, and you were talking earlier
You
about how
could
you
choose.
really
There was
liked
multiple endings,
the
and
games.
there might be multiple endings. I'm not sure,
What
but
was
it
it
just feels
that I
that this.
heard recently that there is a film or something like that that I heard advertised that I think it's a Bear Grylls interactive media thing. So maybe Doctor Who
Yes,
should.
yeah.
I don't know what making that weird clicking noise, but something is. Um, I think there's a click. It's like someone's knocking on my window. But I
Let me
think my
have a look.
radiator is just having a freak out. Um,
Oh yeah, probably.
but when it comes to
It's
like
very
interactive
handheld,
media,
and I want
I
a
would
bit of.
expect there
I
to
want a bit
be
of.
interactions
Yeah,
into the story.
it's
Like
very
Bandersnatch. Maybe something like that would be a good idea. But obviously we have the Edge of Time, isn't it called?
Edge of Reality.
Edge of Reality.
Edge of
Um,
Time's the VR one, isn't it?
yeah, yes, of course it is.
Edge
Edge of
of Time. Have you seen going through a playthrough of Edge of Time?
No, I haven't looked into a lot of
Not missing out on
the
much.
VR stuff because I don't have a VR. I'd be like looking at
I
something
don't have a
Frank
VR.
have.
Edge of Reality. Now, I was really excited for this game. Like, oh my god, Doctor Who game coming to a console. This is everything I could have asked for. But since playing Lonely Assassin and seeing playthroughs of Edge of Time, and also it's still made by Maze Theory, I feel like they're going off the same route of very handheld, not really so.
Sort of you move and click. Okay, so what would you like ideally from a Doctor Who game?
Imagine the Lego game, the Lego Dimensions, right?
Yeah.
So very open worldy in a way. You had your mission and you just have to work out
So do you remember once when we played a game called Star
like the
Trek
adventure
Online?
games. Just just better made and with more budget.
And there's
You know what I
a
mean?
DC version isn't there as well. What was it called?
DC Online.
Yeah, DC Online. What would you say to something like that? You know, having lots of sort of TARDISes
I mean,
flying
online
around.
Doctor Who game would be sick. I'd love to play a Doctor Who game with you, but
Yeah, I think that would be a good way to go. But
I can imagine the edge of
entertainment.
reality being very story based
Yeah,
and very. But then I
also think
also
is
don't
cool.
want
I
it
think
to
it's
be
good.
so handheld like it was with Lonely Assassin and Edge of Time. I want that. Like they're basing it as a puzzle game. Right? It's easily going to be a puzzle game. It's like it's Doctor Who. It's a puzzle game, but I don't want it. I don't want easy puzzles. I don't want. Have you tried Sonicking that? I want to actually feel like the Doctor.
I am the Doctor.
Or like. I want to feel like the Doctor, and I want to feel like I'm actually doing something clever, and not just getting told what to do. But to be honest, I haven't really seen anything from Edge of Reality. So,
interesting. I feel like there's a awful lot. I mean, I haven't looked into a lot of the video game stuff because I don't think it's going to work that well. Because I mean, for me, when I thought of a Doctor Who game, I thought of like a Star Trek Online, DC Online. Like I just thought of something like that, rather than a story-based thing. Because I think that if you are watching something, maybe if you saw The Lonely Assassin as like a film, like an interactive film, the less than a game, perhaps that there maybe the thing will be better. And as you said, you haven't finished it yet, so perhaps there will be an improvement as you go through. Okay, so that was a bit of a tangent at the end, but I have time coded this video in. I probably should have mentioned this earlier. In the description, there are time codes, so you can choose and pick what you dislike and want to listen to throughout this entire podcast. Will is for some reason on mute again, and he's not on mute, but your microphone wasn't working.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, a couple of other things that I need to.
Do you do the YouTube thing where it like shows that on the timeline on the bar? It shows you which gaps it is.
Have a go. Sure, I'll have a go.
I don't know how you do that. I've just seen it before.
I'll Google it. I don't know. Yeah, but I intend to put some sort of time codes into this one because it is a bit up and down, and I realised that
a long one.
It's only been just over an hour, as far as I know.
Oh, is it?
Well, an hour and a bit, an hour and 20 probably at this point. But I have some stuff I like to cut out. Generally, I'm quite good at feeling whether it's long enough. And yeah, I'm cutting that.
No, that's gold. That's gold. Subscribe to the offers.
So I'm planning. So I'm thinking about creating a sort of page. I think it's called a Ko-fi or something like that. And no, actually, I'll skip forward a bit. I'm thinking of making this page in order to try and pay. Yes, in order to try and pay for the space that I need to provide, a host for the podcast. Basically, it'd be nice to have the thing pay for itself. Obviously, I'm not going to make it a compulsory thing. This thing's always going to be free. But the benefits are something that I will
YouTube originals. You want YouTube red money?
I will have to work out at some point. And I don't know whether there will even be any perks or early access or anything like that. But I would like to do more episodes a month. Adding in that little bit of cash, that bit of pizzazz will help along the podcast in keeping the space that I need to house it.
We're still going to make them no matter what.
Yeah.
But...
It will just mean that they become limited, I suppose, or I have to pay more money for them.
And they're definitely... Dan says there won't be perks. We will come up with perks. There definitely will become perks.
Will thinks there will be perks, but I'm not quite sure.
Dan, I'm not being funny. There will... Okay, hear me out. If you do, you're an utter legend. There will be perks. And we will let you know. The thought of someone giving away their money to support a shitty little podcast that two mates make in their bedroom.
Well, it's more than just two. There's at least 8 of us at this point.
Dan, okay, then 2 regulars make in their bedroom.
I'm the main regular. You appear most of the time,
but then Dan Johnson and his guests make in their bedrooms with their Apple headphones.
I'm not even. I've got the microphone attached.
The
I just
only
had
one
these
with a
on to
mic.
listen to you.
The only one with a mic.
The only person with the microphone. Yes.
Yeah.
So okay, apparently there will be. But I'm thinking about
There will
doing
be.
it basically, because it will help me along with keeping the thing afloat, or whatever. But I really like doing it. I don't know about you, but I really like having a podcast.
I quite enjoy it. You know.
So I feel like we should thank Ashton, even though because obviously he's not here, but we did ask him if he wanted to come at very late notice, and
He's not here.
he couldn't make it. But
Why are we thanking him? He's not here.
but I'm thanking
Ashton,
him
if
for
you want
wanting to
thanks,
be
come to the
here,
next one.
and maybe he'll be
Ashton, if
here
you want
next one.
thanks, Ashton, if you want thanks, come to the next one. You're not getting no thanks in this
But
one.
I literally only told
No,
him that we
no,
were recording
no.
about 20,
Don't listen
10
to it.
minutes before I press record.
Ashton,
We
he
were both
doesn't mean
sitting
it.
here in the chat
Ashton,
when it
he
came off.
doesn't mean it. If you want thanks, come to the next one.
I'm gonna cut the thanks. You may have the thanks at the beginning of the next
Ashton, you're
one
having no
that
thanks.
you turn up in. So thank you very much for listening. Will's links will obviously be down in the description below. My links will also be down there, as well as the link to the link tree. And the link tree is the way that you get to all of the different platforms that the Who
Are you ready?
podcast
I've got
is
this.
on.
I've got this.
Go
You
on.
got
Are you
this.
gonna
I've got
name them?
this.
Here we
Are you
go.
ready?
Come on,
We
Will.
are
You can
on
do it.
Spotify, Deezer, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts,
Mr. the Big One.
YouTube,
Mr. the Big
and there's
One.
what? Spotify.
Yeah.
Oh, I said Spotify. Have I got them again?
No, I mean, you got some of them. Do you want me to get the
We
rest?
are on Spotify, Deezer, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, YouTube,
Go on. You've
SoundCloud.
yes.
Are we actually on SoundCloud?
Yes.
Shut up.
Yeah. Carry on.
Is there one more?
No, there's a few more. Do you want me to help? We've got Podcast Addict,
Never heard of that
Podcast
one.
Chaser, Google
Never heard of that one.
Podcasts.
Never heard of that one.
Forgotten the rest. But you don't need to remember them because they are all in the description below.
They're on the link tree.
It connected to the link tree, so I don't know why I need to list them. It's just become a big thing that we list them
now.
It's a bit.
Yeah.
It's a bit.
Thank you for watching.
That's what I was just making sure I had all of them covered. But anyway, obviously, if we do special podcast episodes, then we have a different website. If you don't use any other streaming platforms, and that, of course, is Spreaker. If you, if you
Spreaker!
just listen on YouTube, then go to our
Oh,
podcast host, which is Spreaker, and all of the episodes are available there, and bonus ones that might not be included in full on YouTube. The Christmas one was like a 2-hour extravaganza that we did back in December. And
you probably should have linked the Christmas one actually at Christmas and not in April.
I did. There's a Christmas one, but that was like that's the bonus show that we did that wasn't
That was a
available
good one. To
widely
be
on
fair,
YouTube.
that was a good one. I recommend if you have nothing to do. Is it only on Spreaker?
It is currently only on Spreaker, iTunes, Spotify. It's on all of those platforms, just digital stuff.
I really
not on
recommend if
YouTube.
you do nothing, just stick on Spotify. The Christmas episode is really good. To be fair,
It's good. It was a good 2 hours,
and that's why it's
but
2 hours because it's a good 2 hours. And that's Dan's cut down of the rubbish 2 hours.
Yeah. So. Thank you very much for listening. Hopefully you enjoy this podcast. We'll be back next month, if not before, with a new podcast episode. Oh, Will's going to sleep. Goodbye.
Bye.